Hey everybody out there in TV land, Eddie here reporting live from nowhere else but home base, aka my home office slash nerd emporium slash spot for my lizard slash some of our cats slash everything. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We've decided to change up Let's Talk Gunpla with Ben and aka Uberscosplay just by doing the live stream on Instagram. So I appreciate you tuning in. Hey, Miami Play Plomo Building, how are you doing, man? Hey, everybody, Lawnmower Repair, Alex. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Uberscosplay should be here momentarily, and we'll get this show started. Be sure if you have any questions about Gundam or Gunpla or anything of that nature, have them ready, and Ben slash Uberscosplay would be more than happy to answer them. I know he would, because he's that kind of guy. Super cool. So while we're waiting for Ben to show up on live, hey guys, while we're waiting for Ben to show up on live, I wanted to just let you guys know some cool things that are going down at Flynn's over the next weeks, last couple weeks of this month. So let's see. Yuff.
All right, Ben, I accepted you.
Yo, Ben, what's up, man?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it looks like it's like facing. Oh, there you are. It's like, what is going on? Now I gotta adjust my camera. Hang on a second. I gotta adjust my camera. The one, the only, the Uberscosplay here. There we go. Here with us. We figured that we would change it up for Let's Talk Gunpla this week. Do an Instagram live. Usually we're at Flynn's right now on Twitch and doing all that kind of stuff, and we just hit 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 followers on Twitch, so that's a huge milestone for Flynn. We'll be doing a giveaway. Senpai's encouraging us to do that. But anyways, the man of the hour himself is here with us, Uberscosplay, reporting live from Gundam Central. What was that?
This is the Gundam Den, the cosplay work zone.
There you go, the cosplay work zone. Well, dude, I'm it's cool. We've never done an Instagram live, so we'll be able to we've never done one together, I don't think. So we'll be able to answer any and all questions. But yeah, guys, I'll get to the announcements later on. What's got everything we're going to try to keep focused on Gundam. If you guys saw on our Instagram and through our Facebook, and I'll be announcing later on, the cat's out of the bag. We will be hosting a Gundam Build Space at Florida SuperCon this year in July, the 8th, 9th, and 10th in Miami. So we will be hosting a Gundam Build Space. And then we'll also be at MizuCon this next weekend. We'll have Gundam there as well. If I can throw a couple tables out, I will. And then, of course, we have our Build and Paint night every Thursday from 8 o'clock to midnight. Ben is there. I'm usually there later on in the evening. And we have an amazing group. So we're just going to get straight to it. So Uberscosplay, let me let you introduce yourself, because some people watching our stream on our side might not know who you are or what you're about or anything like that, man. So take it away, brother.
Sure. So my name's Ben, aka Uberscosplay. If you've been to any anime conventions down in South Florida, you may have seen a giant Gundam walking around. Well, chances are that was me. I've been cosplaying for over 10 years now. I've won like over 7 Best in Show awards, a dozen awards in total. I won the Cosplay Gen Awards in 2016 for Best Armor. I travel all over the country, been out of the country as well, showing off my cosplay work, getting other people into the hobby and stuff like that. And as you might be able to tell, I'm also kind of a Gundam nut. So a while back, I hooked up with Eddie and been helping him out with all the Gundam stuff, doing the orders, helping out with knowing what to buy, tools, helping out with little events here and there, and basically just trying to bring my knowledge of Gundam to the forefront and help everybody out in my regard.
So that's, in a nutshell, who Ben is, and you can find him on Instagram. Ben, you got Instagram. I know you're on TikTok. I know you're on Twitter. I know you're on Facebook, and it's all under Uberscosplay. So for those of you listening and not watching, it's UBERS Cosplay, UBERS Cosplay. Be sure to go like, follow, tag, whatever it may be. And like Ben said, you've probably seen him at a convention and didn't even realize it. because usually he has a the full ensemble on.
Usually have at least the bucket on, so it can be kind of hard to spot.
But yeah, I got to thinking, a little history, guys. I got to thinking, Ben, you know, how we got into contact with each other. I believe it's when I was talking to Tate about the suits over there at Tate's Comics, and then you and I started.
He has two of my older costumes that he bought on display.
Yeah, exactly. And I asked Tate about it, and then Tate brought it up, and he's like, "Oh, you should contact Ben." And then we got in contact, and bro, I was thinking about it. We knew each other, or we linked up before Flynn's was even open, and that was in December of this year. It'll be 3 years of it being open. So time flies, dude. How much have we? How we have grown.
I know, it's nuts. It's just like it feels like yesterday, like it was just the arcade was just on the one side, or it hadn't even opened yet. And now it's like more than twice the size. We've got so much stuff, so many model kits, so many different events going on. It's like, I'm always telling everyone, it's like, Eddie, you do so much. You got so much on your plate because you're doing so much for so many different communities. I mean, we're lucky to have you around.
Well, I appreciate that, man. We got some cool announcements. As I mentioned, you know, my goal this year was to get Gundam into Florida SuperCon, and we've accomplished that. So
I'm very anxious for SuperCon. I'm debating whether or not to bring out a suit just to show off to Adam Savage.
Dude, I think you should. I want to try to get. I know Adam Savage is going to be there. I've got a couple ideas, you know, to bring things for him to sign and things of that nature for the arcade. And dude, I would bring it out 100%. I'm sure. Honestly, I think he's the type of dude. I'm going to invite him to the Gundam build room and say, listen, come and build a Gundam.
Oh, that would be cool. I mean, I think he'd dig that because he's done Gundam models on there.
Yeah.
If you get the arcade on tested, that would be awesome.
Exactly, bro. So we got that going on. And we're just trying to tap into different communities. And with Ben, like he had stated, I point everybody to Ben. If you guys don't know, we have a Discord for Flynn's. He handles everything with the Gundam ordering, the Gundam, what stuff's coming in, the pre-orders. And it's because of Ben and his persistency to keep us focused, and his knowledge, because he's so in tune with what the community wants. He handles the pre-orders, and we are truly blessed. And I keep saying at Flynn's, you know, we are more on variety as opposed to quantity. We want to, you know, that's kind of like what I feel we really encapsulate with our ordering. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm always trying to order not just what's new, but what I think the fans and the Gundam community would really want. Because you don't want like a ton of stuff all over the shelves that maybe is not quite, maybe brand new, but it might not be the kind of thing that the older fans or the people that have been in the Gundam for a long time are super interested in. So I try to curate everything we buy to where the stuff's on the shelf is stuff that I know is high demand and stuff that fans will want.
Exactly. And we've recently taken a step into, and I've been doing the best I can to push it out there, into supplies. I say supplies, tools, accessories, paints, sanding blocks, decals, decals, water slides, transfers. I mean, so many tools. And this stuff, from what I've heard, is difficult to find out in the wild, and we have a lot of it.
It can be very difficult to find. And the good thing, too, is because you guys now have the additional workspace, if you guys are new into the hobby and you want to do more with the craft, but you're unsure of how to do it, ask one of us or me if I'm there, and we can show you some of the basics with these tools and some simple things that you can do to really improve your craft. And if you're an old hand at the hobby, there's lots of consumables we have, stuff that you're going through all the time. Sandpapers, glues, decal setter, Gundam markers, things like that. Things that pretty much, if you've done the hobby for a while, you're pretty much always using up. And it's kind of difficult to get them from Japan right now, especially considering the shipping times and everything. And the cost of moving things around is getting really high. So it's nice to have somewhere local to get that kind of stuff. I mean, back in the day, that option never even existed for me. So it's great to have it.
And also, like you said, Ben, with the additional workspace, you know, that workspace, we usually have at least 3 to 5 tables down from 6-footers to 8-footers. If people want to build there, hey, come on out, build there. And like you had said, Ben, and it got me thinking, and I'm going to ask a question in a moment, but it got me thinking about
you know, like you said, the ability for people to come in and ask questions.
Right.
I build, you know, I'm fairly new to the hobby. I have a good working knowledge, and I've been trying to do more of it, but anybody is totally open to answer any and all questions. And if I have the tools there, I'm going to let you use my tools so that you can get comfortable with them. And then if you want to buy them for yourself, you know, we always have a pair of, I call them just like lender nippers.
Yeah.
You know, if you need those, and everything's super affordable. I mean, we had the sanding sheets, which is like $4 or something like that for multiple sheets. So don't build. Yeah, exactly, bro. And if you can't build at home, come to Flynn's. Come to Flynn's and build there. Whenever we're open, you're more than welcome to build. And then, like I said, Thursday nights is when we dedicate it to build and paint night. But I want to make it known that you can come out when you want. Free of charge. That's something that we will predominantly keep free of charge to build there and work there. But yeah, dude. But my question, Ben, for you is this. I was asked this question recently from one of our Flynn's family members about starting in the hobby of Gundam. So how did you, so this is a twofold question. So the first question is, how did you get started into this universe of Gundam?
Well, it's kind of embarrassing to say, but I've been into it for a while. I'm getting to be an old guy. What can you say? But I was into anime way back in high school, like in my freshman year. Like I was watching things like Rama 1/2, Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball, all that kind of stuff. And I knew what Gundam was, but I wasn't really into it. If I was into any kind of anime, it was Robotech. I was so into Robotech when I was a kid. I would buy the comic books, try to get whatever toys I could, but I had never really encountered things like model kits. I think it was probably my sophomore year of high school. Gundam really started coming out in America, specifically on Toonami, Gundam Wing. And my girlfriend at the time got me a model kit, which I actually have right here. This little no-grade V8 model kit, which is one of the bad guys from the show. But probably a $10 kit. You used to be able to get these in like the store Animation in the Broward Mall or Toys R Us. Really kind of a piece of junk if you were going to be even nice about it back then. Except $10. What could you really expect? But she got it for me, and I put it together. And it was this very simple little thing. And I was like, hey, this is kind of fun. I kind of like these. And then I started looking into more model kits from there. And I got my first master grade model kit, which was the RX-78 Gundam 1.5 then. And this from there, it's just been nonstop. I've pretty much focused on the master grade model kit lines, but I've done a little bit of everything. High grades, perfect grades, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, and then obviously at some point that led into cosplay. I got into that about 12 years ago through my current girl, Shirley, Star Scribbles. She comes into the arcade every now and then. But she got me into cosplay, and then that just kind of intersected with my love of Gundam, and now I'm into the giant robot costumes.
So it started with the little tiny, well, it started with a show and or manga and or anime. Then it led to the first model kit. Then it led to an obsession that has taken over your life. So this
guy right here started it all. This $10 little junk model kit you probably would find in the bottom of a bargain bin basement nowadays. What got me into the hobby.
Well, I agree with master grades. Now, why did you lean predominantly towards master grades, though?
I like master grades because they have the higher detail. I really like having like the full internal skeleton, which is like what the master grade line is really known for.
Right.
And that's really like the fun of it for me. I like being able to sit down for a couple hours and just kind of tune out and build a model. And the master grade will take you anywhere from like 4 to like 8 hours usually. So that's it's a really good point for me. And especially building them for so long now, it's been really interesting to see the evolution of the Gundam model technology in the line. It's really like night and day. I brought in some kits on previous episodes where they've done like improved versions over time.
Yeah.
And you just compare them, and it's just like night and day how good modern model kits have gotten. Like they did a modern model kit of this guy,
Yeah.
And it's not even worth comparison how much better it is.
Well,
I still love that one, but the new one really knocks it out of the park.
oh, dude, I agree, and I have to agree with you there, because like when I got into it with the high grades, I'm like, this is cool. It was quick, you know, an hour and a half, and I usually take my time. Where you are hardcore, man. You just stick to it and build it through, and we'll get into that later about your building process, because it is very unique because you're so familiar with the kits. But then I got introduced to the I think it was the what is it, the Origin RX-78.
Yeah, I think that was like the first one you did.
Yeah, the master grade. And I'm like, okay, I'm hooked, because the scale is bigger, and I see all these questions being asked where it's asked the scale. And so, correct me if I'm wrong, it goes SD, then HG, then real grade, which is the same scale.
Yeah, it goes SD to high grade to master grade. Perfect grade is about twice that size. But you really can't say, especially when you're looking at the master grade line,
right?
Like how complicated it is based on that size or grade alone. Because a master grade from the year 2000 is like on the level of a current high grade kit.
Yeah.
Because that's how much the technology has improved. And I've built high grade kits that have more detail than some early master grade kits now. That's how much better it's gotten. The real baseline I would use to determine how easy or difficult a kit is going to be is the age of it. If you look at like the year on the bottom of the kit, like what year it was printed, anything past 2010, whether it's a perfect grade, a master grade, or a high grade, is going to be very, very easy to build. Really, the only difference that you really have to consider in terms of what to buy is what your price point is and what kind of display space you have to put it in, because they're all so easy to build. Anything further back than that, you might want to research a little bit just to see what you need to build it and if the quality is going to match up with what you're spending on it.
And I want to show people, because I have a high grade kit here. So this, for those of you who don't know, you'll usually see the symbol in one of the corners or somewhere on the box. This one says HG for high grade. And then what Ben's referring to in the bottom corner, actually usually right below it, you'll see way down here, it'll say the age or the year, which is right, actually, it's right here in the corner, my apologies. Right here, it says 2018, it's kind of blurry, but 2018. So this is what Ben's referring to with the date and then the scale of it. So, but Ben, what if the kit, and I've seen this, they don't have this. They don't have the age of construction. Should you just assume that it's an old kit?
You can usually tell by the artwork, because usually if the artwork is nice and really clean, like the one you just held up, that's a good signifier that it's a new one.
Right.
Older ones, they would use very simple CGI models for some of the box art, so that can be a giveaway. But as an asterisk, even an old kit is not like if you were to go to the model kit store and buy like a model battleship or a tank where you got to use glues and paint and everything like that.
Yeah.
Gundam modelers, I will say we are very, very spoiled by Bandai for like what we put up with. Even old kits will look very good right out of the box and without very many tools. You don't need glues and that kind of thing. It's just that there might be things like problems with some way parts fit, like maybe they don't look quite as good as they should, or maybe you have to use stickers in some places where the color modern kit would already be injected in that color. So that's what I mean when you're talking about some of those older ones. And if you're new, that's why I suggest you shoot for something newer, because then you kind of get the taste of what a modern kit really is. And then once you figure if you like it, then you could go back to maybe some of the older designs and see if like you'd like those enough to go ahead and go back in time and build those kits.
Because you will have to do a little more cleaning up, right, on that kit, seam lines and things of that nature.
And things like posability might not be quite so good because the technology just quite, wasn't there yet.
Right.
But
So
there are lots of old kits. There are lots of old kits that are really great kits. Don't let the age alone dissuade you. It's just kind of a good baseline to use if you're not sure what you're buying.
I always go with this rule, and I have quite a bit of kits here that I just saw and I liked, and I will just find them aesthetically pleasing, and I'm like, oh, that looks really cool to build. I kind of like the posability. I like the way it is. And whenever I do the streams, of what's in the box, I always say, look at what's on the side. You know, the articulation, the different features, the whatever it is, and see if it kind of floats your boat. And you've done such a great job. I see the comments coming in. I mean, we have the Yu-Gi-Oh! Millennium Puzzle, Batmobiles, Hello Kitty, Pokemon, My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer. I mean, there's so many different Star Wars that you can get into. You just find what works for you.
Yeah, there's more Star Wars stuff coming in too. And actually, that kit you showed is a pretty good example of something. That mobile suit, the Blue Destiny, is from a video game that never got released in America. It's from a Sega Saturn game called the Blue Destiny.
Ooh.
So just to show you, like, that's something that you would probably never see, but if you just like the design, it's worth getting, and then you can look into it and see all the history and stuff behind it if you're interested in it. But I know you're into retro gaming, so that's something you might be interested in. It's like these old Gundam Sega Saturn games.
I ran into a couple of them actually at this place down in Davie, and they were the PS2 games. I wanted to get them for the arcade, but they were one player. And
I have those games. I've been meaning to try them on a stream with you, so maybe that's something we can talk about.
Oh, dude, that'd be killer, man. So, like Ben's been explaining. So, Ben, I gave my, and I see Brittany on the stream. I gave Brittany what I call like my beginner set of tools. You know, I have my own. What would you say if someone's getting into the hobby to make? And I look at the tools like they're there to make your life easier and to make the build experience more pleasant and to create a finer end product. And it's really, the cost is marginal when the long scheme of things. So if you had to, Ben, what would be the Uberscosplay tools / accessory things that you would buy 100%?
Well, it's a good thing we're in my office because I'm going to go grab a few tools real quick.
And guys, with the tools and accessories, we got everything at Flynn's. There's a wide selection there. And if I have it in my own personal collection, I'd be more than happy to let you borrow it. And Ben's going to show us some examples from his kit right now because he has an extensive little toolkit.
All right, so my 3 picks for if you're new into the hobby and you want to know what tools you can get to improve your craft. Number 1, a pair of nippers. Now these are a pair of God hand nippers, which are like the premium creme de la creme nippers. But these are used for removing parts from the actual sprue. Now what makes the God hands different is these are super, super sharp, but they're also super, super fragile. So you may not want to go with the super premium ones right off the bat, but there's lots of different options. We have these at the arcade. We also have some cheaper entry build nippers. Yeah, like those there. And that's an easy way to improve your model kits. When I was young, in my first model kits, I used to cut them off the sprue with like a steak knife or an X-Acto knife. Not a good way to do it, but I was young, I was stupid. I didn't know about this stuff. I didn't know where to look. But you guys don't have that disadvantage now. We have all that stuff at the arcade. Number 2 thing you can do to improve your craft, sandpaper sticks. Sandpaper sticks are really great ways to clean up your model kit. Usually what I'll do is I'll cut off the nub with these nippers and then sand down the very last bit of the plastic with a sanding stick just to make the part that extra bit smooth. This is also something you really want to have if you eventually intend to paint a model kit, because you'll never be able to cut it completely smooth with a nipper or a knife. If you want to make it to where the part's going to be invisible where you cut it off once you paint it, you're going to want sanding sticks. Sanding sticks come in all kinds of varieties. If you guys have ever done any kind of projects with sandpaper, you should recognize those numbers. It's just like sandpaper. The higher the number, the finer the grit. Really, the 2 most important ones, in my opinion, are 400 and 600 for finishing. Those are the 2 you need the most. And lastly, a Gundam marker. In this case, I tend to prefer Sakura Micron pens. You can get these at craft stores like Michael's or Joann's. They're like calligraphy pens. Gundam Bandai also sells their own brand of these markers under the Gundam marker label. And those come in different kinds of colors, like black, gray, brown, depending on the kind of style you're trying to do. Because most of these model kits have tiny little lines and ridging details in the armor that you can help bring out with the Gundam marker. And it makes them look a little less like toys and a little more like the little statues or representations of the characters and robots they're supposed to be. So those are my 3 key tools for people that have probably never built a model kit before. Those are the ones you probably want to check out.
And what I would add to that, is I'm more of the, I agree 100% with what you said. You know, the nippers, the paint or the pens, and the marker and the sanding sticks. I use the sheet just folded and I do it that way. The other thing to add to it is because I don't really enjoy the the shininess of a model. I want it to look more realistic. So a nice matte finish top coat thing like that just makes it kind of dulls it down, and it really, I don't know, I think it makes it look more like a realistic robot. Now there are a realistic Gundam. There are Gundam that are shiny and bright and everything like that. So, but that's just me, and it's fairly inexpensive. But the one rule I found out was be mindful of the temperature outside when you spray that stuff. You
don't want to do it. You don't want to do it at night in Florida because it gets really humid. You want to do it during the day, and you want to make sure you do it somewhere well ventilated. The good thing too, like you say, is that flat coat. You can get these at Flynn's. $10 a can will last you probably 3 or 4 high-grade kits. These will go a long way. And I would just recommend that if you're going to use these, do it outdoors. And just like if you do Warhammer stuff, it's many light coats. You don't want to do a thick coat. Do a very light misting 1 or 2 times, and that's all you need.
And it just kind of dulls it down. Now, Ben, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this before or after the decal application?
That's after. That's after the application.
So if you have decals or water slides that are included with your particular model kit, you're going to apply the flat coat after the decals and stickers and all that stuff are already on the model kit. It'll help it blend in a little bit more.
I'll go ahead and switch my camera.
Go for it, dude.
This is an entry grade of the original Gundam, the American type. And this is actually one I was doing a series of videos for that I was going to provide to the arcade, but I'm still in the process of doing the editing. This is pretty much a straight build of the kit out of the box, but I did everything to it that a beginner could do to make it look as good as possible. So like one of the things that's got on there is that clear coat that really flattens it, brings it down a lot. It's got a very simple panel line job on it, just to bring out some of the details of this fairly simple and cheap kit. Like this is only a $10 kit, but you can really make them look nice. Additionally, this had some seam lines removed on the shins and a few other spots. But this just goes to show you how good you can make a $10 kit look. It looks really, really sharp for something I only spent $10 on.
Now, I think that's a great segue into our upcoming Gundam Speed Build Contest, Ben, because you're looking at an entry grade kit right there. Well, technically. So that's a great segue into what do we have planned for these lovely people. Where did you get that kit from?
That's none of your business. Yeah, so for the upcoming contest, this is going to be our subject matter for the contest. The idea is, hang on, let me turn off my spin here. There we go.
Guys, as you ask questions, I'll be sure to go back to the questions and answer them as we can once we get through the contest portion.
Yeah, so the idea is this is a brand new entry grade kit that just came out of the new Gundam from Char's Counterattack. This is Amuro's final mobile suit from the 1988 movie. But this is the newest entry in the entry grade line. The thing that makes the entry grade kits so good is you need no tools at all to build these. You don't even need nippers. The way the gates are designed is super, super thin to where you can push these parts out with your thumbs alone. But even though the price point is so low and the build is so easy, the details of it are very, very good. In a lot of cases, this kit is better than the high grade. These little yellow portions on the thrusters on the knee are all separately molded. Same thing with these ones on the skirt. And even the little cod piece, the tiny little yellow V, is not a sticker. It's actually a piece of plastic that peeks through from the body inside. They even do this really neat effect with the eyes. You see that black area around the eye? It's not a part. It's just created with the way the kit is molded through shadows. It's a really, really neat effect. So how this contest is going to work is you already said the date. I think it was, what, the 26th?
Yeah, the 26th, which is the last Thursday of the month. And it also coincides with when Victoria will be there, who does our painting sessions as well. So it's kind of like an added bonus if you have painting questions.
Okay, great. So how it's going to work is you pay $20 and you get this kit. And then at 8 o'clock, we start a timer and everyone begins to build their kit. The first person to have the kit completely finished will win a $25 gift certificate for Flynn's Arcade and a trophy. And you can use that gift certificate on tools, supplies, model kits, anything we got at the arcade. And of course, even if you don't win, you still walk away with a kit you built. So it's a nice little excuse to get a nice brand new model kit that everyone's trying to get. These just came out. Really, nobody has them just yet. And it's a nice way to kind of flex your muscle because you can build these kits super, super quick. I'd like to see who could do it the fastest.
So we have, and to kind of piggyback off that, we have a limited amount of kits. So I believe there's, what, 12, I think, left?
We have 12 of these. So that's 12 spots to get in on this contest we're doing.
And it is first come, first serve. The arcade opens at 5 p.m. And so essentially, I guess you could buy the kit right when you arrive. But like Ben stated, we're going to start the build contest, the speed contest, at 8 o'clock. So... yeah. You got to get it before. It's first come, first serve. You cannot buy the kit the day before, the day after. You got to buy it that day. And like Ben had stated, I'm really interested to see how many people choose to use nippers versus not use nippers, different strategies and tactics in building this kit. And because the kit is so sought after, like Ben said, once again, this is the Ben's diligence of pre-order, pre-order, pre-order. We've been getting a huge blessing of various entry grade kits. And yeah, it's going to be a great time. So it's $20 to enter and you get to keep the kit at the end of it. Now, Ben, does it require that you actually apply the decals and stickers too? The whole thing has to be done.
The whole thing has to be done. Now, there's only 2 stickers that I know of on this kit.
Okay.
And it's the A on the shoulder and the little unicorn symbol on his shield.
Okay.
But yeah. I'll be sitting there with a stopwatch to mark it for if a lot of people are close, but we'll be watching very closely to see who's done first.
Exactly. So, you know, no disrespect if you want to focus in and separate yourself and put yourself on the opposite side of the corner of the room. I understand that, but yeah, man, it's gonna be a great time. So that's the 26th of May at Flynn's Arcade in Margate, Florida. Hold it for me. I never make it there. Well, Guillermo, you're going to have to make it there. We're going to start 8 p.m. on the money. And probably live streaming just so that we can have some records of it. But it's going to be a great time. And Ben and I are going to talk after this one to better plan out other build contests and build, you know, enthusiast events for everybody to enjoy. And this is a great kit. Anybody can do it of any age, in my opinion. And it's a solid solid entry grade kit, which is the same scale as a high.
Yeah, I think even the people that are older at the hobby will appreciate this because it's such a nice version of such an iconic mobile suit.
Yeah, it is, and I have to say, I let one of our Flynn's family members. They were asking about it. I let them see it, and the minute I took it out of the box, like a lot of people turned their head, like, "Oh, you're gonna put them on the shelf? You're gonna put them on the shelf?" And I'm like, well. We're going to hold them back, and we have other entry-grade kits. I believe, what is it? The Strike Gundam is there. I saw. Yeah, the Strike. And if you go to MizuCon, which is the next, which actually is that weekend, we won't have hopefully any new Gundam left because everybody will be, you know, rocking and rolling during the contest. But we will have entry-grade kits
left by then.
So we will have entry-grade kits there. I believe some RX-78 we have left. We have Strike Gundam left. And I believe those are the entry grade kits that we have currently that are for MizuCon, specifically in Miami. But, okay, so that's the build contest. So, Ben, they just got to show up, purchase the kit, purchase for $20 the kit, and then wait till 8 o'clock and we get our clock started. Is there anything else they need to do?
Nope, that's pretty much it.
Be there in real life. You know?
You got to be there. And like you say, I would try to, if you can, show up a little bit early because if this goes to be very popular, I don't think they're going to last till 8 o'clock.
And if we find that our community wants to do more of these speed build contests, we could go after 30-minute missions. We could go after high grades. We could go after, you know, anything really Master grades can be done in one sitting. I've seen it done, but it's a little more.
Not everyone's crazy like me. I don't think anyone really wants to do that.
But dude, it's going to be a great time with the Gundam building. And now also, Ben, let's say you're not able to get to Flynn's, and this is where I want to tap into your knowledge. Let's say you're not able to get into Flynn's, and you're not local. You're not in South Florida. Where is the next? And let's say they don't have a local hobby store or a local, anything like that, and we don't sell online. So where could they go to be able to secure kits at a decent price in a reputable company?
I would always point people towards my go-to right now, which is the Gundam Play store. They're based in Atlanta, but they do most of their sales online. They've sponsored some of our contests and things in the past, so Jamie, the guy that runs it, is a very good guy. If your only option is to order online and stuff like that, I would definitely recommend them too, because it's one guy running a business. It's supporting local businesses. I like the big companies and all like that, but when you support them, you kind of really don't see the face behind it. I've met Jamie. I was there for the store opening, so he always gets my vote.
So Gundam Place, guys, they got a Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, I believe, and they have a website.
And insider word, they're doing a raffle for a trip to Japan.
They are.
So if you order from them, you can enter into this raffle, and they're going to announce the winner, I think, in November. So
that's awesome.
I definitely got in. You all should get in.
Well, I think that's in the future. I think the Flynn family is going to take a trip to Japan as a group. I really do think that's in our future as a Flynn's week out. No, probably a couple weeks out, an outing, but
at least two.
At least two, and we'll do it. We'll do it like they did back in elementary and high school, right? Where you got to pay every week a certain amount to guarantee your spots.
Yeah.
Come up with an itinerary and everything. But anyways, so Gundam Place, I agree with Ben 100%. Jamie has been really supportive and helpful. There's been, I don't think there's ever been a time that we've asked for help or support and he hasn't given it.
No.
And
he's always been willing to help, and I very much appreciate that.
Oh, totally. And tell him that Uber sent you over and Eddie and Flynn sent you over. It's all about kind of growing that community. Okay, so we got a place they can secure the kit from. Now, we have our build and paint night at Flynn's, but where can they go if they need a little guidance other than our Discord? Because they could obviously join our Discord, ask questions there. Where have you seen people be able to go, websites, groups, whatever, to get help with the building process?
I mean, honestly, I've been in it for so long, I never really referred to a lot of resources.
Okay.
There was a website I used to go to for airbrush and modeling tutorials, and that was fitchinfu.com. And I don't think he's updated that site in a very long time nowadays, but that used to be my go-to. But nowadays, it's like YouTube. There's going to be someone doing just about anything you can find.
Right.
There's reviews of kits out like the moment they're released, because people have sponsorship deals with various suppliers and things like that. But what I think is really good is things like the build night and the arcade and everything in the Discord give you an option to get advice directly from people, because a lot of times you can go online and a lot of these guys on YouTube and stuff like that, they'll recommend a kit or like a certain tool or something like that. But you see a lot of guys recommending kits from shows. They're like, I have no idea what this show it is, but I just like it. It looks cool. And I have nothing against people that buy stuff just because of aesthetics, but I really like getting my input from people that know the source material. Right. And that's what I like too about the community there, because like we'll go in there and I'll like put up this big playlist of anime openings from anime back from the 80s to like the currents, and people are like, hey, I know this one, I know that one. I'm like, okay, I'm around my people. They understand. They've seen some of this stuff, and that's what I like. I like dealing with stuff in person.
Exactly. And you know what? If you're outside of the area of South Florida and can't make it to Flynn's, maybe hit up your local comic book store or hobby shop, or a library on a Saturday or a Sunday. A lot of them that have those extra rooms. But like Ben stated, You know, it's nothing beats being able to meet together and kind of just mess around. And sometimes I've seen people legit bring kits and not even touch them. They just get enthralled in the conversations that are going on.
It's the same way. It's the same with cosplay. People are always like, "Oh, what do you watch to get into it?" And I honestly just tell people that are trying to get into cosplay, it's like 5 minutes of working with something hands-on is more valuable than hundreds and hundreds of hours of YouTube stuff. It's always better just to start getting in and get your hands dirty on stuff, because all the instruction in the world is not worth nearly as much as practical experience. You just got to get in there. And you got to know that, you know, the first things you do might be kind of rough. It's like when I built this guy way back in the day, it looked like junk. But I went back to it years and years later and painted it up and made it look really nice and added extra parts and put all this knowledge that I had building up back into it. So you can always come back and attack something again a second time. There's nothing to be afraid of. You know, it's not like a big contest or a judging or anything like that.
No.
It's all just about having fun and building experience and building skills. That's really all it is.
Exactly, and you find where your niche is and what you like. I mean, I've probably seen an episode and a half of Gundam. You know, like I've seen portions of the show and here and there, but I got attracted to more of the hobbyist side of things. You know, in terms of constructing it, and I look at it like entertainment value and also a skill. So with a high grade kit being between $18 to $20 some odd, taking me a couple hours, I usually drag it out to 2-3 hours because I'm taking my time. I mean, where can you get that sort of entertainment value? You know, $5 an hour, and plus when you're done building it, you know, you're like, whoa, this is really cool. Something that, like you said, Ben, you got your hands dirty, you made it, you learned something from it, and you just kind of moved in that direction, and that's where it really comes down to it, and take it whatever direction you want. You know, with the manga, it's funny because I went to a comic book store, Ben, and I found that, it is a manga, right? The Gundam one?
There's been lots of Gundam manga.
It's the one where the RX-70 is on the first volume, and it's hardcover.
Oh, that might be the Origin.
Yeah, Origin. There you go. And he has something draped over him or something like that in the front one.
Yeah, I believe that's the Origin.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I found it and I saw the book and it was like, I don't know how much it was, like $16 or whatever. But once again, if you don't have the monies, go to your local library. A lot of them have those books on order. You can order it getting delivered to your close local library. That way you can get exposed to it. And they also have a lot of the movies also. And like Ben said too, what's that YouTube channel?
Gundam Official.
Gundam Official. So Gundam Official on YouTube has tons of movies and TV shows, don't they?
Yeah, they rotate it out every now and then. Somebody was actually messaging me on Instagram earlier asking about a particular show. So what's on there changes all the time. I know right now they've got Gundam 00 on there, but the entire show is up there in multiple languages of subtitles. So it's just free to watch. And if you want to check it out, you can check it out that way. I know they rotate shows in and out of Crunchyroll and Netflix. So just check your streaming services. Chances are, with how much Gundam there is, there's probably something Gundam on whatever service you're paying for.
Exactly. Or you guys are resourceful. Just find it.
There you go. Yeah, the person that messaged me on Instagram has to remind me, but I'm actually bringing them some DVDs on Thursday for them to borrow.
Ooh. Now that's it's always cool when you see a Gundam. Like I found that Robotech DVDs at the at one of the garage sale things they were doing over at Game 9 Coral Springs, and I know that's Macross.
Yeah, that's what started me in anime, really.
So, Hulu has Gundam. Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, there's a lot of Gundam to get into it. And that brings me to another thing. Not only has Ben been so helpful with finding and pre-ordering and we've had outings, movie nights at theaters where we will watch, movies that, like, what was the last Gundam one that you guys went to? Or what was the last, what was the one that we watched most recently at the theater in Coral Springs?
We watched Macross, Do You Remember Love?
Yes, yes. Macross, and then you had another one before that. I didn't go to that one. It was at Silver Spot where you brought the DVD, I think.
What was that? That Silver Spot.
It was
Wait, the one at Silver Spot was Macross.
that was the one you maybe. Anyways, so we try to do outings where we'll have the movies and Ben will bring them or we'll apply them to streaming. So maybe you can find something like that in your local community, or you have a movie night of that sort. And now Flynn's has acquired or is acquiring licensing for movies. So I mean that's my goal right now. I'm waiting for the whole Japanese contact that they have for that world. But with Gundam in general, you know, whatever floats your boat, do it. Get started. If you don't have a Flynn's locally, I also like. I mean, they have model kits at Hobby Lobby occasionally.
Yeah, they do, but the selection is very, very limited.
Very limited. So it might be a good place to get like started.
Kits. Yeah, like maybe 5 or 6 kits. That's about it.
Yeah, to get started, and like we had said with Ben, you know, there's multiple things to get involved with. So Ben, what was, and I want to end with a couple of questions because I know some people have been asking questions, so I'm going to scroll through them. But I have a question myself. What has been your most complex build that you've ever done?
Oh, most complex build. Let me kind of look through the shelf real quick and see. It's like the most complex was probably the Perfect Grade Unleashed, the original Gundam that came out recently.
Right, the perfect, yeah.
But it's only complex, not that it was difficult to build. It's actually a very, very simple build, but it was just like how it was stages. You had like the internals, and then more armor, and more armor, and more armor. You build it in basically layers. It was a really intense, really fun build, but I wouldn't call it like difficult at all. It was very, very easy to build. Like the way the runners were designed, and how well everything fit together, and how well all the colors look and everything. Very, very easy kit to build, but a very, very enjoyable build. Probably one of the most enjoyable ones I can think of recently. In terms of a challenging build, like one that was hard to build, that Supernova Heavy Arms that I did when you were around recently, the one that was like the Chinese third-party kit.
Yeah.
While not bad, it was challenging because there were some parts of it that did need special attention to really make it like up to the level that you're kind of used to with Bandai kits.
Right.
Like nothing really extreme, but it needed like some parts to be adjusted and sanded, a few things to be glued that on a Bandai kit they probably would not be requiring glue.
Right.
So that was like a little more intense in recent memory. But other than that, nothing really super difficult comes to mind. It's Gundam stuff. Like I've done like a lot of tanks and stuff like that, and those are like I say earlier, more like traditional modeling, where certain things that Gundam fans are kind of spoiled on are just not even attempted to be done in like traditional war scale modeling. things like moving parts and stuff like that. It doesn't happen that often in that kind of realm. You know, you're only obsessed with like historical accuracy, and that's it. Everything else, like gimmicks and internal details and things like that, falls to the wayside.
Yeah, and just recently, wasn't Gundam or Gunpla recently introduced into like the building league or something like that to be able to be judged? I forget what it's called.
There's a certain attitude with people that have been into traditional modeling to kind of turn up their noses at Gundam people, because you can do so much with Gundam without any kind of formal skill or anything like that. Like a child could pick it up and make a really good looking Gundam, and then somebody that's really, really good at modeling could pick up the same model kit and make a kit that basically just looks the same with a minimum amount of effort. You get what I mean?
Right.
Because just the way they're designed is they're so easy for new people and older people to pick them up and, you know, apply your level of skill to it. And that's not to say that you can't do insane things like some of these more traditional scale modelers do with Gundam. There's a large crossover in that, of people doing huge amounts of customization and original concepts and scratch building tons of dioramas and things like that. But it's starting to kind of go the other way now, just because Gundam has now gotten such like a zeitgeist in the culture. Like it's so well known. I mean, heck, it showed up in Ready Player One, and that's a major American movie by Steven Spielberg just a few years ago. And so now it's just getting more and more everywhere. A lot of the shows are coming out simulcast in multiple languages. So at the same time it's airing in Japan in Japanese, it's airing in America in English, already ready to go. And even like you've seen on the more recent model kits are coming in, and on the box it's in English and in Japanese, and in the instruction manuals it's in English and in Japanese. Yep. You can get the model kits in America for years, but they never put English in the books.
Yep.
But now they're just realizing now that there's more of an international market for Gundam, and they're starting to kind of cater to it. Even that little entry grade Gundam I showed, that was a Target release exclusive. You could only get that in Target, and it came with like American style stickers, the stars and stripes and all that. So they're definitely paying a lot more attention to the international market. And when you go to these model kit competitions now, when you might see like a dominance of tanks and jets and boats and that kind of thing, I think you're going to start to see a lot more dominance of, Japanese anime robots and things like that, just because there's more of it out there, and there's a real push to have it out there, and people are eating it up, and it's fun.
It's a lot of. I agree 100%.
Who doesn't love giant robots?
What'd you say?
I said, and it's giant robots. Who doesn't love giant robots?
Exactly, and you don't have to super glue anything together, so that's even more helpful. Now, the one question I found, Ben, that Brittany had asked, and this will be like our closing, about panel lining. And panel lining, she was asking about it being done post-build, or I guess before build, or during building. What's your suggestion?
You can do both, honestly, and it really depends on the part. Some parts might be difficult to access once the thing's all put together. So sometimes it might be better to do something when it's already off the mobile suit, and then you're just doing it by your hand there, and then you attach it later. You kind of have to, depends on the part you're doing.
So pretty much just take it a piece at a time.
I would say it's usually better to go a piece at a time, but what you might want to do is, especially if it's a simple, relatively cheap kit like a high grade, is build it once and then take a look at it, and if you think you can get access to a part better with it disassembled, just take it apart again. Most of these things can be disassembled fairly easily.
Right. Oh, I agree 100%. Well, Ben, man, we've covered a lot this evening. I'm super thankful that you tuned in. We'll remind the people, guys, we're doing our Gundam Speed Build Contest with the integrated new Gundam on May 26th, which is not this Thursday, but next Thursday, starting at 8 p.m. sharp. You have to be there to buy the kit's $20, and you leave with the kit, and then first place will take a trophy, and we'll take a $25 gift certificate to Flynn's to be used towards a kit or whatever you may like. And then if you guys want to dive deeper in conversation with Ben, hit him up on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and our Discord, which the link's in our Instagram bio. He's there. We have channels dedicated specifically to Gundam, and we're talking more than just the model, the art of model building. It could be the movies, the manga, whatever it is, the cosplay element of it. We have some great cosplay builders that have built mecha-type style suits. So, Ben, is there anything you want to say to the people in closing before we head out for the evening?
I mean, you pretty much covered all the bases. Just hit me up, come out to the build nights. We're always looking for more people to hang out and build model kits with, and just chill out and watch Gundam anime, all that good stuff. Exactly.
So, guys, we will see you. I believe, Ben, will you be at MizuCon this next after weekend?
Yeah, I'll be at MizuCon, and I'll have the Easy 8 there. So if you see the giant robot Easy 8 walking around, that's me. Come say hi.
Awesome. So Ben will be there. We'll be there. It's going to be a great time. MizuCon is the last weekend, I believe the 28th, 29th, and 30th of May. And then we'll see you there 100%, guys. So really appreciate your time. If you are a follower of Ben, we'd love to gain you as a follower. Head on over to our Instagram, follow, tag, like, subscribe. I try to put as much content out as possible. We always have unique events at Flynn's, and anybody and everybody's welcome. So, Ben, I appreciate your time. Say hi to the dogs for me. Say hi to Shirley, and we will we'll catch you on the next episode of Let's Talk Gunpla with Uberscosplay.
All right, man. Sounds good. Take care, everyone.
All right, brother. Live long and prosper, man. I'll see you on Thursday.
Bye-bye.
Later.